Welcome class sa first lesson natin ngayong second quarter sa Earth Science. In this video, we will talk about weathering and the factors that affect it. Let me start my discussion in appreciating the pictures of these rocks. Most of the rocks have its unique appearance. Maaari nating masabi na imposible makakita ng isang piraso ng rock na may kahalintulad. They are all unique because of the conditions that shaped it to be that way, and that is because of weathering. Now, let us define what is weathering. So, it is the breakdown or alteration of rocks and minerals on Earth's surface. So, kapag sinabi nating breakdown, ibig sabihin lang yan, rocks are turning into smaller pieces or smaller size. Pero kapag naman alteration, I want to say it that you are altering the composition, the chemical composition of the rock itself. So, may dalawang uri kasi ng weathering. It could be physical or chemical. This slide presents the different types of weathering. So as I have said earlier, may dalawang uri ng weathering. It could be physical or chemical. And under physical, you have different types of weathering that is happening. So it could be caused by frost wedging, salt crystal growth, abrasion, or biological activity. Sa under chemical naman, you have dissolution, hydrolysis, and oxidation. But please do not get me wrong. May mga instances kasi that biological activity could be classified as under chemical. Lalong-lalo na kapag yung organism ay nagpo-produce ng chemicals to weather the rock itself. Let's go with the different factors that affect weathering. First is the rock properties. We have established last quarter that rocks are made up of different chemicals. And of course, dahil gawa ito sa different chemicals, iba't iba din ang properties nito. Merong mas durable na rock, meron namang mas hindi. It is because that there are rocks na gawa mismo sa soluble materials, katulad ng halite na gawa sa salt, NaCl, which is, of course, soluble sa water. So kapag ito ay na-expose sa water, madidissolve na ito. O kaya naman, merong mga rock na madaling maapektuhan ng acid, like your limestone. If we will compare it with granite, mas less yung rate ng weathering sa granite. If it is because dahil sa composition nito, dahil yung limestone mo ay gawa sa calcium carbonate, yung granite naman ay gawa sa different materials. So, mas madaling maapektuhan ito ng acid rain. Another thing under property of rock is its physical structure. If a rock is massive and composed of a single structure, mas intact yung kanyang composition. Mas less yung chance na ma-weather ito. Pero kung meron namang cracks ang rocks, katulad ng nandito sa picture na ito, may fissures or kaya naman may fracture ito, then mas mataas ang rate ng weathering dito. Dahil mas exposed ito, mas mataas yung surface area nito as you compare to this one. Second factor is climate. So the water and its movement will definitely affect the rate of weathering. Yung chemical composition pa lang ng water will cause the weathering of some rocks. E nagkaroon pa ng movement nito dahil sa rainfall. O kaya naman sa gravity or wind, nagkakaroon ng movement of water, flow of water, then it will definitely break down rocks into smaller pieces. Next is temperature. Kapag exposed sa temperature ang isang rock, thermal expansion will happen. So, kapag mainit at maaraw, nag-expand ang rock, then sa gabi naman, nagko-contract ito. This cycle will cause the breakdown of rocks. Mag-exfoliate ito, and then, at some point, mas liliit ito. Thermal expansion kasi happens less in cold climate. Kasi nga, constantly, malamig lang doon, there are less chances na magkaroon ng pagbabago sa temperature sa isang area kapag cold ang climate. I also want you to remember that dry and wet climate cause more weathering. This type of climate is present in tropical countries, katulad ng sa Pilipinas. Mainit at maaraw mostly, pero madalas ang precipitation pagdating ng hapon. Ito yung mga condition that will increase the chances of weathering of rocks. Kapag naman cold and dry climate, katulad ng nasa poles ng Earth natin, kung saan constant lang na malamig sa lugar nila, less ang precipitation, less ang movement ng water, then weathering is happening less. Presence and amount of soil and vegetation in an area also affects weathering. It is said that the thicker the soil in a place, the higher the rate of weathering. It is because soil will bring about more biological activity. Mas madaming organisms sa isang lugar na malupa or makapal ang soil, and this will increase the rate of weathering. Last factor that affects weathering is its length of exposure. It is obvious naman na kapag mas matagal na expose ang rock sa different forms of weathering, sa different elements, mas mataas ang rate of weathering nito. Mas madali itong mag-breakdown or mag-change ng composition. So again, the different factors that affect weathering is the rock's properties, yung composition na to, tsaka yung structure, climate, the temperature and rainfall, soil and vegetation, and the length of exposure. We will talk more about weathering sa next video lessons natin. Thank you.